Welcome to San Gabriel Unitarian Universalist Fellowship. Whether you are here in the sanctuary or joining us online, whether for the first time or the 1,000th, we are glad you are here. My name is Lauren Tunnell, my pronouns are she, her, and I am honored to serve as your lay leader this morning. This is my first time to be lay leader, and I'm a little nervous, and I also have a cold this morning, so if I sound a little stuffy or I cough, bear with me. Thank you. Oops.
Good morning. Good morning. I'm Eric Hepburn. My pronouns are he, him. I'm honored to serve as your worship leader and pulpiteer this morning. Together we enter a time of word and silence, of song and spirit, as we shape this time of worship. I am also recovering from a cold, but I think the Theraflu will last to the 2 hours that are required. So, we'll see if we all notice or not. Please recite after me the words to light our chalice. We light this flame to remind us.
We light this flame to remind us.
Love is the center.
Love is the center.
As we grow and connect.
As we grow and connect.
Mature and deepen.
Mature and deepen.
Love is our center.
Love is our center.
When the light of truth burns all else away.
Burns all else away.
Love endures.
Love endures.
Our calling in song this morning is May Nothing Evil Cross This Door. It is number 1 in the gray hymnal. Please rise in body or spirit as you're able, and let us lift our voices together. For we are here, we are awake, and we are one community. The Wonder Box reminds us that wisdom often comes in small packages, and that curiosity is a sacred gift at every age. Candace White, our Director of Religious Exploration, will now share this time of learning and wonder with us.
Hello, good morning. As you know, our Wonder Box every month we have a new theme in RE, and this month it's practicing resistance. And every Sunday we open up our Wonder Box to see how we're going to explore that theme this week. So let's see what's inside. It's not making any sounds. Let's see. It's a balloon. Breathing is something that our bodies do all the time without even thinking about it, like when we're asleep. But we can also choose how we breathe. We can hold our breath, take tiny breaths, or take big, deep breaths. When we blow air into these balloons, they get bigger. It can make them change, which shows how powerful our breath can be. Some people, like Buddhists and Stoics, use their breath to help us feel calm inside. When we slow down and notice our breathing, it helps our busy minds take a rest. It helps us pay attention to right now. And when we take calm breaths instead of letting our worries or angry feelings take over, we are practicing resistance. So, if the youth will follow me to the little house, we can explore this lesson some more, and may your song be our blessing.
Our hearts hold both joy and sorrow. Spoken here, they become healing medicine. If you wish to share, raise your hand, begin with your name, and hold the microphone so that your voice flows into it. A brief word spoken with care can be enough medicine for us all. If we heard what Candace said, we never turned down an opportunity to move a little slower. Take an extra breath. Settle into this moment as it is. To settle into this moment as it is. Thank you all for sharing and for all that remains unspoken. And it's true every week, isn't it? Every week one of you has a joy wasn't quite enough to make you raise your hand, or a sadness that hurts too much. You knew you couldn't get through it without breaking. So you held it. And when you do that, we hold you. For all that remains unspoken, each and every week, this community holds you in love. Now we pause to honor the great world house of which we are a part, lifting up the needs, the hopes, and the voices beyond these doors. This week, people around the world are bearing witness to large-scale protests and resistance movements in Iran, as citizens demand political change and push back against repression. Iran has seen some of its most widespread unrest in years, with demonstrations spreading across provinces even as authorities cut internet access to try to suppress communication and organization. Human rights groups warn that the internet shutdown is making it harder to document what is happening on the ground, and reports suggest that many civilians have already been killed or injured in clashes with security forces. Despite that repression, protesters continue to take to the streets, chanting for change and risking arrest and violence in pursuit of basic freedoms and human dignity. In these events, we see both the cost and the courage of resistance. people choosing to stand in the face of systems that seek to silence them, citizens refusing to be passive bystanders even when the cameras go dark and the risks are high. Their struggle, the struggle of the Iranian people, remind us that resistance is not only a public protest, but a persistent refusal to let injustice have the last word. A theme that resonates with us today as we explore what it means to practice resistance in our own lives and our own context. Amen. Our song of yearning this morning is Glory by John Legend. As we listen, let this music carry our tender hopes and deep questions into a place of prayer and presence.
Let us enter a place within, opening our hearts and minds to receive this voice of wisdom. After the words are spoken, we will breathe together in silence, preparing ourselves for the world unfolding among us. Today's voice of wisdom comes from Mimas. We are taught that resistance means pushing too harder, arguing with reality, tightening our fists, fighting what is until we are exhausted or numb. But what if much of what we call resistance is actually a form of attachment? A refusal to let go of the story that says, I oppose what is in order to matter. There is another kind of resistance, one that does not look like struggle, but like steadiness. To stay present without collapsing into despair or fleeing into fantasy is already a refusal of the forces that profit from our fear. To meet reality without hatred, to refuse both denial and domination, is to interrupt the machinery of harm. So today, let us practice resistance by not reacting, but by remaining. Let us resist the pressure to fix, to perform, to prove. Let us resist the lie that says that urgency must always sound like noise. And now, let us practice resistance together and doing the most countercultural thing we can, nothing. Let us be silent.
Y'all know that I don't believe that shame is a social justice tool, or that shame is a good tool for spiritual growth. But I want to ask an honest question, and I want you to be honest by raising your hands. I want you to raise your hand if you weren't able to surrender to the invitation to silence just then, but you just filled up that space thinking other stuff. It is hard to accept an invitation into spaciousness. Your mind might wander to the people who are unhoused, who were in this very church building last night seeking refuge from the cold. Or the other folks in our community who stop by our small pantry outside to pick up food every week and wonder what has gone wrong with the world, that those people don't have regular food to eat and a place to sleep. Your mind might wander there. Your mind might say, Eric, there was enough bad stuff going on in the world. I didn't even know that this stuff was happening in Iran. Why'd you bring it up now? I'm wondering about those people. I'm wondering about the Iranian people and their long struggle for self-determination and some relief from oppressive dictatorial regimes. I didn't even know that was happening. Don't we have enough problems in Gaza and in Ukraine? Not to mention our domestic issues. Not to mention the murder of people in our own borders. How can I be quiet? What good would that do, to be quiet, when there is so much disquieting out there yearning for my attention? I can't give you a definitive answer, but I hope today that I have a few thoughts to offer about what might come out of an acceptance of such an invitation to silence. We are taught that resistance means pushing harder, arguing with reality, tightening our fists, fighting what is until we are exhausted or numb. But what if much of what we call resistance is actually a form of attachment, a refusal to let go of the story that says, I must oppose what is in order to matter. I must oppose what is in order for me to matter. There is another kind of resistance, one that does not look like struggle, but like steadiness. To stay present without collapsing into despair or fleeing into fantasy is already a refusal of the forces that profit from our fear. To meet reality without hatred, to refuse both denial and domination, is to interrupt the machinery of harm. To refuse both denial and domination is to interrupt the machinery of harm. So today, let us practice resistance not by reacting, but by remaining. Let us resist the pressure to fix, to perform, to prove. Let us resist the lie that says that urgency must always sound like noise, that urgency and franticness are the right response to any moment. So we're going to do it again. Practice means just that, doesn't it? Something sometimes you have to practice. Practice specifically doesn't mean do it once, try to get it over with, and forget about it. That's the opposite of what practice means. So let us practice resistance together by doing the most countercultural thing we can. Nothing. Let us be silent for a moment together. I'm going to say something I don't often say. Thank you, Jesus. May the best laid plans of men and mice be brought to nothing. Now, I had my own ideas about what I was going to say could come out of this silence. But this laughter is a better answer than what I was going to tell you. What might come out of a moment of quietness is laughter, is a recognition of just the ludicrousness of all of it, the happenstance of the unimportant, the tragicness of the things unfolding that we all wish weren't happening. Sometimes they are so ridiculous, they're only worthy of laughter and tears, friends. The harm we keep doing to each other. I just can't believe it. It's worth laughing. I have been alive longer than some of you in the room, and significantly less long than others. But this is the third go-around for me. This is the third time that I'm watching the leadership of the place I call home send a military to get its way against people under a lie about why they're doing it. And I really want to understand. I want to understand why we keep making the same mistake. But it's not just them, y'all. It's not just them. I'm going to tell you a story about my life. I had the great good fortune before the pandemic to just teetotal alcohol. I just got to a point where the numbing of it, my reliance on it as a tool for helping me deregulate myself was becoming apparent, and I put it down. And I was grateful because I had a lot of friends who doubled down on the drinking during the pandemic. A lot of friends for whom cocktail hour became cocktail afternoon, evening, and night, 6 or 7 days a week. And I was grateful not to be one of them. And along it came, 2 or 3 years, totally dry. Whatever, I have a drink now and then. Okay, it was fine. But I'm gonna be honest with you, I found myself drinking almost every night during this winter break. And here's the untold cost. The untold cost is that I have forgotten that the consequence of allowing alcohol into my body every day for several days or a week or 2 weeks is the effect that it has on my ability to be present, to find joy, and to not be irritable. It affects different people differently, but this is how it affects me. I drink 3 days in a row, and I'm just crankier. I'm a less good father, I'm a less good minister, I'm a less good husband, I'm less good at everything I care about in life, but it's subtle. You could convince yourself you're just having a bad day that's got nothing to do with your own choices. It would be easy to do that. I have done it. But the truth is, after talking my wife into spending an exorbitant amount of money so that the three of us and my sister and my 2 nieces could all go to Universal Studios and do the Harry Potter thing, I spent the fucking day melancholy. We're not streaming today, that's why I'm dropping F-bombs. I spent the whole day at Universal Studios melancholy because I made the bad decision that a drink or 2 every evening while I was on vacation was fine. But then I had to pay the price, didn't I? We had just dropped a couple grand so that we could all 3 go do this experience together, and I couldn't show up. I couldn't show up. I had made the argument about why to do this because these times are fleeting, right? My nieces are early college age. My son is about to graduate high school. We we have to grab these opportunities to connect with one another. And then I blew it. I mean, I was there, it was okay. But it wasn't what it needed to be, and I was part of the problem. It's the same. Do you see what I'm setting up here? This mirroring of the microcosm and the macrocosm, right? The things that happen to us individually, the choices we make in our life, the way that we unfold, unwrap, and understand the negative unintended consequences of our own choices. That happens on every scale. It happens on the scale of a country who talks itself into, well, we've got this giant military sitting here. Surely it'd be okay if we used it a little bit. Surely it would be, I mean, like, that guy, that Maduro guy, he's a bad guy. He's a dictator. What, do you need to say anything else? I mean, come on, dictator. Everybody wants to get rid of a dictator. Sure, it'd be a good thing, right? We can see our way around that. I mean, maybe it's about the oil, maybe it's not. Who knows? Maybe it's a distraction against Greenland or about Greenland, or maybe it's a distraction so that we can invade Cuba later because, we just have to steal back everything that we stole that people took back after we stole it so that we can have it again. No, let's not go down that road. Let's think of it a different way. But we can talk ourselves into many things. Are you with me? We can talk ourselves into all kinds of bad behavior for which we have adequate data that it's not a good idea. And we can do it on the scale of our relationship with the people we love the most. We can do it on the scale of this community. We can do it on the scale of a nation or a world. And we do. Maybe out of the spaciousness, maybe out of the laughter comes an opportunity to make a different choice. That's what I want to propose to you all. Maybe out of all that, maybe the thing that accepting the invitation into silence might do is invite us. Maybe it just flips one quark, one subatomic particle in one molecule in our brain switches its spin, and the chances of us making the bad choice versus the good choice flip from 51-49 to 49-51. Maybe that little edge is all we get. There's a lot of evidence about the deterministic universe, but I still manage to believe in free choice despite the evidence. What comes out of the silence? I think I first have to talk for a minute about what is before the silence. Before the silence is the incessant chatter of the monkey mind, as the Buddhists say. The I can think my way out of this box, just watch. And to go back to the work of one of my favorite writers and thinkers and spiritual teachers, Eckhart Tolle, that monkey mind thing is ego. He defines ego as identification with form. To make that a little bit less abstract and more accessible, I am what I do, or I am what I think, or I am what I have done and have thought. I have an identity. I'm a white male. I'm a pastor at a church. I'm a whatever your job is, whatever your role is. Father, mother, those things make me who I am. And Eckhart Tolle says, no, those are all things about you, but they aren't you. You, in your essence, it's a bit of an essentialist argument. We could talk about why that might be philosophically problematic later. You are the awareness that's capable of being aware of all those things. You're the awareness that's capable of saying, that was a really healthy thought versus that was a really dumb thought. Now, there's a version of that that's just thinking thoughts about your thoughts. And there's a version where you recognize that as thoughts arise within you, as you are doing things, that the kernel of your reaction to those things is coming from a layer deeper than thought. It's at that deeper than thought layer where arising, sinking into and arising out of silence allows that agency of your awareness to influence your decision making, to override habits from your past so that you can make new and different choices. So, when we stay trapped in the monkey mind, identified with our thoughts, we are going to play out what Eckhart Tolle calls our mentally conditioned habits of behavior. Whatever we learned. If we learned to stuff our emotion in childhood, then we're here, new emotion. Oh, I know what to do with that stuff. Oh, more emotion, stuff, right? Anybody been down that road? Right? Yeah, okay, I figured it was not, it's culturally normal. I don't want to gaslight you. The opposite of gaslighting is normalizing. Yes, us too. So, but at some point, many of you know, so sure, you were 6 years old and you developed the habit of stuffing your emotions. But some point along this road, you recognized, man, that is not working so good for me anymore. And you needed to find a way to change that habit. So, accepting the invitation into silence, my argument is it is a beginning planting of a seed that grows the capability, the possibility, the skills you need to unlearn what you have learned, to unlearn the things that need to be unlearned. Eckhart Tolle says that there are 3 ways that we engaged in what he calls enlightened doing. In other words, doing that is free from ego. The first one is acceptance. Acceptance is, as he describes it, he's got a beautiful analogy for this. He says, you might not be able to be happy that you're changing your tire in the rain, in the middle of the night, on a dark road. But you can accept that, hey, this is just what I got to do. This is what this moment in my life has shown up as. Moment has shown up. On dark road, it is raining, I am tired, tire is flat, car not moving. I go change tire, right? So number 1 is acceptance. If you can accept. Now, what does not acceptance looks like? God damn it, I shouldn't be doing this. This is somebody's fault. That mechanic at the garage. If that mechanic at the garage had done this tire the right way the first time, it wouldn't have been flat when I ran over the railroad tracks at 90 miles an hour. And blaming, accusing, making wrong. Those are the habits, the mental habits of ego that stop us from acceptance. You're judging what is, a moment that is, as it shouldn't be this way. Does that resonate on almost every level of your being? From the micro to the geopolitical? It does for me. It's so hard to not be in that space where I'm just like, that should not be happening. But the thought, that should not be happening, is not adequate. You know that it's not. When Keith Hutchinson and I got up here and talked about protest signs, I realized this morning as I was driving in, the thing about some of those signs that rubbed me the wrong way was that they're just complaining in sign form. They're just complaining in sign form. And complaining is your ego saying, I know better, and I'm wrong or something else is wrong. You're sitting in judgment. I want to propose to you that sitting in judgment and resisting what is in the world doesn't change it. It locks it in place. It mortifies and rigidifies things instead of loosening them. What loosens them is loving attention. I love this world just the way it is, even though it breaks my heart every day. I even love those self-destructive, socially destructive narcissists whose bad decisions over and over again cause the sufferings of millions. Why? Why love? It's not because I'm not pissed. You can see it on my face. Love is the only answer that doesn't buy in to the dehumanization of others. It's the only answer that doesn't say, I'm giving up on you just like you gave up on all those people as not really human, not capable of human. Loving attention is the only thing you can pour into that moment that can't be perverted and corrupted. And therefore, as Gandalf says, it never was more than a fool's hope. It never was more than a fool's hope. The idea that we might come out of this better. The idea that the world might be the beautiful place we all dream for it to be. I could be right now in front of a conservative church. A church with American flags on the dais. And you know what I would see when I looked out in the audience? Do you think I would see a different dream of what they would want the world to look like for their children? I don't think fundamentally it would be a different dream. But my son and I had the beautiful blessing of having some ridiculously long philosophical conversations with my son over the last couple days. And he said, it just seems hopeless sometimes. Like, how do you decide to keep going when things look so bad, and like, why? And it feels like what you can contribute it just couldn't possibly be enough. Because if it's just you, it's not. But when it's us, and as that us gets bigger, each of us doing our little part to get our egos out of the way, to step into a moment with loving attention and kindness, as the critical mass of that grows, things that seemed impossible become plausible. Now, maybe I just want to believe that. It is true that I want to believe it. But I can't stand up here and preach it to you unless I've done some serious prayer and discernment on the issue. I believe that we are so much closer than we think to a tipping point. The tipping point that some of the deeper New Age spiritualists spoke of. Think about how far we've come in just the last 20 or 30 years on gay rights and a bunch of other issues that just 20 or 30 years ago seemed like, man, that is never going to get better. And I know we're having a backlash now. I'm not trying to sit in denial of that. But I'm saying that, like, you know, we're watching Percy Jackson on Disney, and Zeus is black. I love that. I love that. You know, I love that even though it's a money grab and it's Disney and all that, that they're like, no, we're going to keep doing multicultural casting and stop the white supremacy thing. Thanks. Right on. Right on. Small steps, right? Small steps. If we're each doing our little part, don't worry. Disney, some of us are working on the whole anti-capitalist thing. We'll help you out in a little while. And, you know, I love that, I love the retelling of so many of these stories that were originally written. I'm sorry, I'm a sci-fi nerd, so I'm thinking of the Foundation series that recently got re-released on Apple, and now suddenly, instead of this white male patriarch being the sort of central character of the reinvention of the human future, there's now this young woman of color who's like really the linchpin around which the whole thing revolves, right? And it's a very subtle retelling of the story, but it's just decentering this expectation that solutions only come in the form of old whiteness with facial hair or with intentionally removed facial hair. You get what I'm saying? So, you know, I'm at the point near rambling. So I'm going to introduce two things real quick, and then we're going to get into this for just 2 minutes, and then we're going to transition out. So acceptance is number one. The second one is enjoyment. If you can really get out of your head and stop telling yourself the stories about why you shouldn't be changing the tire in the middle of the night on the dark road, you might get back in the car afterwards and realize it was kind of fun. It happened to me. I don't have time for the story. I was going to tell you the story, but I pontificated too long. So now you don't get to hear the story. Just take my word for it. If you get out of your own head, stuff that you wouldn't imagine could be fun can become fun. That's called enjoyment. I got out of my own way, and suddenly the stuff that I had to show up and do wasn't the drag that my mind told me it had to be. The third one, and this is going to dovetail into Deepa Iyer's work that we're going to be exploring over the next few weeks. The third one is called enthusiasm. And enthusiasm is to be filled with the creative energy of God. That's what it means in its root word. What I like to say is, it's when you get out of your way so much that the creative energy of life and love and the universe flow through you into the world. And you do acts of generosity and creativity that other people think seem superhuman. Because they are. But that doesn't make you not the conduit for it. They are superhuman because the energy of this universe ain't yours. Just like you don't really own land. That's just some human paperwork bullshit. You don't own land. The land owns you. Try living without its food for a little while. The land will prove it to you. So, we have a lot of human fictions. They get in our way. But what Deepa Iyer is doing in her social change ecosystem work is trying to ask a deeper question about what kinds of people it takes to make social justice movements work. So coming out of the silence, getting our ego out of our way, showing up really in a moment, trying to find our own enthusiasm, the creative energy of the universe that wants to come through the receptacle shaped like us. And we're all shaped different, right? Like, my opening up to the energy of the universe looks and sounds a lot like this. That might not be your jam. That's cool. There's lots of different jams. I got a whole sheet full. I'm going to share them with you real quick. Weavers. One of the roles of social change makers is weavers. Weavers see the through lines of connectivity between peoples and places and organizations and ideas and movements. They're the people in your life who come and tell, hey, and the next thing you know, you're having a meeting with 3 other people you didn't know before, and suddenly things are coming together in a good way. It's a weaver. Experimenters. Experimenters innovate, pioneer, and invent. They take risks and course correct as needed. You guys know this. I just thought, you got somebody you worked with or are in movement with, I just thought of a new way to try to do that. Let's go try it. They're not like, let's think it through first. They're like, let's go try it, right? The frontline responders. I address community crises by marshaling and organizing resources, networks, and messages. Thank God for the frontline responders. There were some frontline responders here in this sanctuary last night when we provided a warming shelter. They're like, that's where the pain is, that's where I'm going, that's where the urgency of response calls me to be. Visionaries. They imagine and generate our boldest possibilities, hopes, and dreams, and remind us of our direction. Builders. They develop, organize, and implement ideas, practices, people, and resources in service of a collective vision. I think of like our facilities team or our habitat team organizing, stewarding resources. Caregivers, I nurture and nourish the people around me by creating and sustaining a community of care, joy, and connection. I think of our greeters. I think of the people who provide sustenance and snacks for us after church. They're caregiving us. They know that we need that care. Disruptors. I take uncomfortable and risky actions to shake up the status quo, to raise awareness, and to build power. Healers. I recognize and tend to the generational and current traumas caused by oppressive systems, institutions, policies, and practices. So frontline responders put on Band-Aids. Healers treat diseases. You know what I'm saying? Right? But it's a different focus. It's a different calling. I'm saying these out loud. I'm reading them to you because I'm hoping that one or two of them you'll have that, oh, I'm like that kind of thought. That might be important to you. If you have that, oh, I'm kind of like that thought. Oh, that is the kind of thing that when I do it, it makes me come alive. Storytellers. I craft and share our community stories, cultures, experiences, histories, and possibilities through art, music, media, and movement. And the last one, guides. I teach, counsel, and advise using my gifts of well-earned discernment and wisdom. I say this because it is one thing to get up here and be enthusiastic in front of you as, a visionary storyteller, because that's what makes me come alive. But I wanted to share this constellation with you to help you remember that we all come alive in different ways, for different reasons, and through different kinds of activities and ways of showing up. And what the silence is inviting you to is to find your way. We don't need you to solve all the world's problems. We need you to show up and be the conduit you were built to be, for love and creativity and energy and joy to enter the universe through you, for the sharing with all of us. All right, we'll talk about this more next week. I don't know if you're as excited as I am yet, but that's all right. Amen.
Each week we give an offering to sustain the spiritual home and support the work of our fellowship. Today's offertory music is Whispering Hope by Alice Hawthorne, performed by Joe Nesheim and Jackie Karash. May our gifts in this music be blessings. The offering will now be gratefully received.
And now we return to this beloved house where our covenant lies in the announcements and invitations we share. We hosted, in collaboration with our community partners, Helping Hands of Georgetown and Neighbors First Volunteers, a warming center here in our sanctuary last night that provided 15 of our unhoused neighbors with some protection from the cold weather. Thank you to all the members of our community who collaborated to make that happen. We have a social justice meeting today after the service at noon in the fellowship house. If you're a member of social justice or interested, you are welcome. We will have a new member orientation class today after service. It will begin at noon up here in the front of the sanctuary. If you are interested, you are welcome. Childcare will be provided. Our next joining ceremony will be on Sunday, February 8th during the service. This is a correction to the February 1st date that's listed in the messenger, mea culpa. So the joining ceremony will be on February 8th. If you requested a name tag in the recent past, you may find it on the table under the name tag rack in Mark's Place. That's where the snacks are served after the service. And then once you've taken it from the table, you can place it in the rack. Because you've now claimed it. It matriculates from the table to your body to the rack. I don't even know why that's funny, but it really is. All right. Also, thanks to First Presbyterian Church for providing the meals for the warming shelter, and our collaborative hosts from Havra Shalom. To highlight the warming center, faithfully run by our own Michelle Augustine, is an interfaith affair, and we're grateful to all of our partners who helped make that happen. The San Gabriel Pagan Group, led by Kelly McGinty, is expanding its offerings. In addition to our monthly full moon drum circle, we will be experimentally adding a new moon vibrations and sound bath ceremony. Our first soft opening will be on Saturday, January 17th at 7 p.m. All are welcome, church members and people from the community. On January 20th, that's the Tuesday after MLK Day, No Kings and the Women's March are combining forces for the Free America Walkout. Stay tuned for more information. And that's the news from this beloved house.
We close with words of covenant, promises we make to one another and to the world. Let us share them together in a unison reading. Love is the spirit of this community. Truth is our sacred quest. Justice is our prayer. We dwell together in peace. We seek wisdom and freedom. We serve life in fellowship. We grow in harmony with the sacred. Thus we do. Our returning song is We Shall Overcome, number 169 in the Gray Hymnal. Please rise in body or spirit as you are able, and let us sing our way forward into the world, renewed and strengthened together.
Someday.
Please recite after me the words to extinguish the chalice. Chalice. We extinguish this flame to remind us love is the center. Love is the center.
Love is the center.
As we explore and rest, engage and heal, love is our center.
Love is our center.
When only ashes remain,
When only ashes remain,
love endures.
love endures.
Sometimes the best Christmas gifts are the ones we ask for and then forget about. And then it really is, it's like you got the thing you asked for and it's a surprise at the same time. It's like a double whammy. Such is my Mr. Rogers cardigan today. I forgot that I asked for a Mr. Rogers cardigan for Christmas. But my wonderful spouse did not forget. So I leave you with this blessing, courtesy of the teachings of Fred Rogers. Anything that's human is mentionable. And anything that is mentionable can be more manageable. When we can talk about our feelings, they become less overwhelming, less upsetting, and less scary. The people we trust with that important talk can help us know that we are not alone. Amen. Ashe. Om. Blessed be.